Peace be with you, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to my channel. My name is David Nato, and today I want to discuss how we as faithful Christians should think about money and wealth. As human persons, we have a responsibility to be wise with our money. Today, there are countless ways that the world tries to extract as much money from us as possible, and if we are not vigilant, it is very easy for us to fall into these traps. One of the clearest examples of this is in the gambling epidemic that we are living in right now. Countless lives and even entire families have been destroyed by gambling addictions. Gambling today is everywhere. An absurd amount of celebrities and influencers promote gambling platforms, whether through sports betting apps like DraftKings or offshore crypto casinos such as Stake and Roulette. These companies have a ridiculous amount of money to throw at celebrities and streamers for advertising, and the reason is simple. Gambling addicts generate enormous profits for casinos, to the point where these companies can casually hand out contracts worth tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars. This should tell us something, and we must be aware of how the world advertises in ways that appear exciting and enticing, but ultimately lead to devastation if we were to fall for the trap. And for those that profit from these tactics, Jesus gives us a very clear warning in the Gospels. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? There are people watching this right now, I'm sure, that will one day be offered an insane amount of money to promote gambling or some other unethical product or service, potentially in pornography, or there's a lot of other options. As men and women of integrity, we must remember that no amount of money is worth sacrificing our soul. To put things into perspective, the average American lives about 80 years. Even if someone like XQC, who reportedly signed a contract larger than LeBron James, makes $100 million over 2 years of streaming gambling, that money only represents a small fraction of human life. What I mean by that is 2 years, $100 million, that's a ton of money. That's enough money for the rest of your life. But let's think about okay, yeah, but I'm only going to live 80 years. That's 2 years I make $100 million. I'm going to make more money in the future, obviously. It's like, 100 million seems like way too much. And it's like, what am I going to do with all that money? And I mean, I could donate it to charity, but I made this money unethically. I made this money from gambling addicts. Am I really going to donate this to charity now? And I think we're going to get more into that later on in this video. But I kind of wanted to just stop here for a second. And yeah, that's a lot of money, but ultimately it's like, money isn't everything in life. And obviously money is a good thing so that we can have better experiences. But that amount of money, it's like I'm saying, is like, nobody needs that much money. And is it worth it? No. What do you gain from that much money and forfeit your soul? Because like I said, if you're lucky, within the next 80 years, even if you're lucky, within the next 80 years, XQC is going to be dead. Ultimately. That's not, that's just the truth. Nobody lives that long. Nobody lives past 100 for the most part. Some people do, but it's very rare. And my point is, we're not going to be on this earth forever. We're going to be on this earth for, if we're lucky, 100 years, more than likely 60, 70, 80. And for some of us, even shorter. So that much money, there's no need for that much money. And so that's ultimately not a fulfilling life. And because you have all that money, but you lose your soul. So it's not worth it. Now, let's get back onto the video. To someone focused on solely on worldly success, that sounds incredible. But to me and others who can see clearly, sounds like a life marked by depression, misery, and deep unfulfillment. I would be willing to bet deep down that this is what nearly all gambling streamers experience. I hope one day to work hard and accumulate wealth, but I want to do so ethically. The joy of making money, at least for me, is not status or luxury. It is the ability to provide for my future family and my current family, and to be generous by supporting charitable causes. That is where the real joy is. That's not me trying to sound virtuous. This is what just seems genuinely fulfilling to me. That is partaking in the divine life. That is getting to do what God does. I'm not trying to sound virtuous. That's awesome. We get to serve the poor. We get to provide for people. We get to provide for our family. We get to provide for the poor. And we get to experience what God experiences whenever he gives us gifts. And we get to do that for the poor. God didn't create the poor. Or God didn't create the poor as a problem for us to solve, but as a way that we get to encounter the divine life that he is so blessed to receive. So whenever the joy to me is that if I have wealth, if I have this money that I can, and I can afford to give somebody, let's say like I'm at a restaurant, the server is clearly struggling, and having a rough day, and I can just pull out $100 and give her a tip. Obviously I can't do that right now, but like, that sounds awesome. And like, to be able to do that, and that's not me, trying to be virtuous again. It's like, that is just I think what all of us as humans are like, especially, well, as humans, it's like, that is what we're deeply, like, fulfills us. Not just Christians. I think that's just all humans. And if I were to make money unethically promoting gambling, I would feel like a hypocrite for donating to a charity or performing good deeds with that money. It's like, imagine building a hospital and being asked, how did you fund this? Only to have to answer, by getting people addicted to gambling. All of this is to say that making money unethically strips money of the very joys it is meant to bring. Once that happens, what is the point of having it at all? I'd rather be poor, but have Jesus at my side, than be rich, have hundreds of millions of dollars, but be hollow inside. Because a rich person, a truly rich person, isn't the person with the most money. It's the person who wants the least. It's the person that has everything that they want. Ultimately, nothing is going to satisfy our hearts except for Jesus himself. That is what St. Augustine says. Our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. All the money in the world is never going to satisfy us. But if we have things rightly ordered, if we seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all these things shall be added unto us. We will have wealth. If we seek first the kingdom of God, we will have all these things so that we can do good things. But we have to put God first, and then everything else will fall into place after. If money's first, we're going to end up broke. If money's first, we're going to end up broke because whatever we put first, it's like, if we put money above God, that's like, if money is more important to us than God, if money's up here and God's like here, no, God should be up here and like money down here. It's like, God created all things. He's infinite. He can give you like more than you can imagine. Like he's wealthier than Elon Musk, way wealthier. And so we should always put God first and strive to do his will and follow his commands. Meditate on his law day and night. As St. Paul wrote to St. Timothy nearly 2,000 years ago, the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. By love of money, Paul means a willingness to sacrifice anything, even one's soul, for financial gain. We must never allow a large sum of money to seduce us into doing what we know is wrong. No amount of money is worth doing something that will bring us misery and will make our lives unfulfilled. If we put God first, if we follow his will and do not stray from it, he will bless us greater than if we take a job that on the surface is like, this is a huge contract. But you have to sacrifice your soul. This $100 million. But you're going to lose your soul. And then it's like, okay, I'm like, and then eventually it's like, you have all this money, but you're dead inside. Like, in a sense, like, you are dead inside. And truly, like you are a slave to your possessions. Only God can free us from the bonds to our possessions. Only God, we should always want to serve God. He gives us the choice. He doesn't force us. But we should choose to be with God and put him above all other things, because then once we do that, everything else falls into place. We have a proper order in life. And when we stand before the judgment seat of God, we will not be able to bribe him with wealth acquired unethically, for he created all of it. There is nothing that we can give him that is not already his, except for our heart. He will not accept a bribe, but he will ask us whether we loved and served the least of his people. If the answer is yes, we will enter his kingdom eternally. If the answer is no, he will say, I never knew you. Depart from me, you evildoer.